how it impacts Fairfax County it really hits close to home.
The perception by young people is that there's much greater use than there actually is.
At least 40%, 40 to 50%.
Probably 20% to 30%.
We know based on the most recent Fairfax County Youth Survey for 2013-14 that only 11.3% of 8th, 10th, and 12th graders are using marijuana.
I think a lot of adults think that it's always one group who does it together every day, but it's not really. I say that everyone, not just a specific group of people that act one way or dress one way.
That means that 88.7 are not using, and that's an important point to be made by parents in their conversations with their kids.
You know, I feel like it's not really everyone. It's just, there's always some everywhere. It's not that everyone, but they are everywhere.
I think that people say that everyone's using marijuana, not necessarily because everybody is, but as a persuasion device to try to get people to not think that marijuana is as harmful as it is.
I have never actually seen marijuana being used personally, but yeah, I do hear stories, and that's kind of scary.
I don't think my friends would use it, but if they did, I would try to encourage them not to use it.
I think in high school, you start at a young age. I knew people who started in middle school.
Based on my observations over 21 years, people who utilize marijuana also tend to experiment with other more dangerous drugs.
I also see marijuana and alcohol being used at the same time, and that is commonly referred to as twisted.
I do attend parties to make sure my friends are safe and as safe as possible. But I've noticed when marijuana and alcohol are combined, people do a lot more stupid things.
I think marijuana definitely motivates people to make other bad choices.
I know as legislators, lawmakers are going to use the best judgment, make the best decisions that you can, but I urge you to look at different localities, specifically Colorado, for example, that have legalized marijuana. Look at some of the challenges they're facing with bringing cases before judges. Speak to some law enforcement officers. What challenges are they facing in proving these cases? What is the conviction rate?
The reason that legalization of marijuana would be a problem for Fairfax County is that would directly impact our teens.
Even having these conversations is increasing the adolescent youth. They're seeing a real window of opportunity and seeing it normalized and approved by our adults that are having these conversations.
We've seen that in the other states that have legalized. The rates of adolescent use goes up. Adolescents are becoming more comfortable with the thought of using marijuana. It's becoming kind of a societal norm.
People to want legalization, that's letting younger kids, the youth, think that it's not harmful.
I feel like a lot of people use the excuse of, it's not legal to themselves to not use marijuana.
And now, people who do feel pressure, you can always use that it's illegal as an excuse.
If it's legalized, not only will it be easier to get a hold of, but since you'll see it more often because it's legalized in people and adults and peers, it will be more influence to do it yourself.
People want to argue that it's a natural substance.
I think that people underestimate the harmful effects of marijuana if it's backed by the law.
And some of those effects are really bad.
The way how people take marijuana is inhaling it, and that messes up your throat and your lungs.
I see marijuana being used in edible forms a lot more now, such as pot brownies, and people are disguising marijuana in hookah pens, and this is really dangerous youth because it's so easily disguised.
People that I know that have used marijuana for a long period of time, they tell me all the time the negative effects that it has on their bodies and what they've noticed over the years that has happened to them, and it's never good.
They're just not the same person anymore, and the little things they do just isn't them.
I think there are really negative effects both mentally and physically. I think probably actually the more detrimental aspect is the mental.
Teens are a particular risk from marijuana use. That's the time in our life when we have the highest cannabinoid receptors in the brain. So marijuana has the greatest effect on teenagers as compared to any other time in our lifetime.
If you get a hold of marijuana when you're under 18, it does affect your brain growth, which is bad.
Not interested in anything, just sitting around and not being involved in any activities at all.
With marijuana, I think it just really slows you down.
Being sort of relaxed and we call it anhedonic.
It's like the effort is gone. Like they don't want to put the effort in, and so it's just they're really unmotivated to do things that could benefit their future.
As teens, they should be excited about doing stuff. They should be learning stuff. They should be active in stuff. And marijuana doesn't promote that. It actually suppresses all of that activity.
I think that right now as students, our role should be to just focus on our studies and extracurricular activities, and that the abuse of like marijuana and other drugs, that just, it pulls you off of like what you should be focusing on.
The THC in the marijuana suppresses the brain activity. So it makes people relax, which some people feel is a good thing, but also makes them not interested in doing things as well.
I think that there are better ways out there to relax, and that you shouldn't really have to turn to marijuana.
I would love for them to have a healthier way to deal with their stress, and we are trying to do that by bringing some programs to our students to help.
Eventually there will be deaths caused by marijuana because people aren't going to be using it responsibly.
And actually this week we had a youth who was killed in Woodbridge as appears to be marijuana and drug related.
Young kids start using them early on as coping mechanisms, as stress reducers, and in a lot of cases even just a replacement for medication.
It affects your entire lifestyle because you'll kind of turn to that to de-stress, to relax.
He had a drug problem when he was very young because of his older brother. He had gotten a lot of secondhand marijuana. He called me and said he had started using again and stopped within a few months, but he couldn't think anymore. He was starting to fail school again, and he couldn't deal with everything the way he used to. And he ended up killing himself in April.
When kids use marijuana, alcohol, whatever, to mask those symptoms rather than admitting that they need help and asking for it, it can lead to higher rates of suicide, drug addiction later in life, and just less overall satisfaction and happiness in life.
He was, one of the greatest people I knew. He was so smart and sweet, and, getting into that sort of thing ruined his life.
So I am concerned about legalization because I want to make sure that there are strong safeguards for our kids.
Great.
Keep us safe.
Keep us safe. Keep us safe.
Keep us safe.
Marijuana harmless?
Marijuana harmless? Marijuana harmless.
Marijuana harmless?
Think again.
Think again.
Think again.
Think again.
Think again.